Identify yourself.
Captain, it's Carter. Christ, where's everybody?
What happened here?
Something. I don't know what they were, but they attacked us. I thought they was part of the... Wait a minute. Don't you come any closer. Where the hell did you come from anyways?
As you probably already know, The Thing is based on the 1982 cult horror film by John Carpenter of the same name. The game picks up 3 months after the events in the film and is basically a sequel. The game can be best described as a survival horror game with lots of action. There's puzzle solving to be done, but there's lots of shooting. You can do it both third person and first person, manual aiming or using auto aiming. Plus there's another really distinct aspect of the game, which is a team management capability, which allows you to monitor your teammates and help them out in order for them to be able to help you get through doors in certain areas of the game.
I'm not.
If you never saw the original film, there's a little setup that needs to be involved, and the game does very well throughout the first stages of the game. Basically, the gist of the original story was that an alien had crash landed on Earth thousands of years ago and was awoken by a couple research teams. The alien has the ability to mimic life forms perfectly, even human life. So basically, the members of the research team one by one were infected and thus becoming the aliens themselves. But one thing that the game does very well is it represents the trust and fear element that was in the movie. Since no one knew who was human or alien, basically no one trusted each other. The game starts you off in command of 3 other people that represent the character classes in the game, a medic, soldier, and an engineer. The medic, of course, can heal the other party members except himself. The engineer can fix electrical conduits such as doors, power supplies, and such things that help you progress through the game. And the soldier, of course, just provides additional firepower. Your character as the leader has limited abilities in all fields. You'll find items such as health packs that you can use to heal yourself and other team members. Specifically, the medic is the most important, of course, since by healing him and keeping him healthy, you can actually let him heal you and the entire team. You can fix limited doors, so if there's an electrical conduit, sometimes your character can fix them himself without needing an engineer, but for the most part, you pretty much always need an engineer around. All of the members of the team can kind of pony up and add additional firepower into the game, since you can just basically find weapons throughout the levels and supply your team members with them, as well as the ammo that you find. Without going into great detail about the story, since it is such a huge factor of what the game's all about, I will just say that it's not what you expect. Fans of the original film will get their share of seeing the areas and places, some of which anyways, from the movie, as well as other places that were only hinted at or barely seen in the movie. So the story unfolds for fans of the film in a very good way, but once again, for anybody that enjoys survival horror games, the story is very integral to how the thing is played and what you come across and how much fun it is. The gameplay in the thing really revolves around 3 basic elements: the team management, the shooting action sequences, as well as the puzzle solving. They all blend fairly seamlessly together. There are sequences where it's heavy on the action, where there's a horde of enemy creatures coming at you, and then there's other sections that are more devoted to the puzzle solving aspect. But all of them kind of require that you keep tabs on your teammates and know where they're at and know how to use their abilities to the best in your situation. As mentioned before, the action sequences are third and first person. In the third person, you're running around with a gun, and which there are many of. You can get a shotgun, machine guns, flamethrowers, as well as secondary weapons such as grenades and such. At any time during the game, you can hit the shoulder button, and that allows you to go into a first-person targeting mode. From this mode, you have to be accurate with your shots, but at the same time, you can effectively shoot enemies more accurately from a further distance. The puzzle elements in the thing are fairly well done. For the most part, they're very specific to their environment, so you'll be in an area that doesn't have any power, and you have to restore the power by fixing the generator. Once that's done, then you can open doors that are electronically sealed. Some of the puzzles, while logical, really require you to think about what it is you're trying to accomplish and what tools and people you have at your disposal at any given time. The team management aspect that rounds out the three elements that are predominantly what the thing is all about is really neat because it builds on the whole trust-fear factor that was found in the film. For instance, you kind of have to keep an eye on, there's actually a meter in the game that's a trust-fear meter. And basically, anybody you come across isn't really going to trust you all that much because, for one, a lot of the characters don't know you. For two, they're not sure if you've been infected and are an alien. You can win their trust and calm their fear by doing several different things. One is, say for instance, you come into contact with somebody that doesn't have a weapon. They're totally freaked out. They're not sure if they should trust you. You can earn their trust by giving them a weapon and ammunition. By doing this, they'll follow you and help you out. And if they're an engineer, they'll open doors for you and whatnot. All of this can be seen through an in-game menu that shows basically on a meter how fearful they are, how much they trust you. For the fear aspect, you can kind of calm them down by giving them an adrenaline shot. Also, giving them a weapon kind of calms them down sometimes if they don't have one. There's all different kinds of ways that you can do it. You can also lose the trust of your team members as well as make them even more fearful. There's a variety of ways that this can happen. One, if you're not fighting against the alien foes that you're all encountering and battling against, they might think that you're probably infected, and that's why you weren't fighting as hard as you could have. The interaction with these characters is a lot of what the game's about. And the neat thing is they've developed each one of the characters that you come across in the game to a great extent. Although you start off with 3 specific characters in your team, through being infected or being attacked, you will lose them. But throughout the game, you'll pick up other characters quite often. And the neat thing is all the characters are very different from one another and have been developed to a great extent to be very unique. Visually, the thing is a good-looking game. When there's a lot of characters on screen, it slows down a little bit. But other than that and a few other little quirks, the game is very solid looking. The animations of the characters firing their weapons, moving around the environment, as well as interacting with stuff such as computers and things throughout the levels, it's all very, very well done. It looks like they're actually moving within the environment and interacting with stuff. The environments themselves range from the desolate, snow-covered Antarctic tundra to the innards of the bases and caverns that you'll find your way through. The alien creatures that you encounter, they look pretty good. Although, in some parts they are a little polygonal, especially since, the game's trying to portray something that's very organic, has tentacles and lots of moving parts to them. So for some of the creatures, you'll notice that they look a little bulky, a little weird, but for the most part, they're fairly representative of the creatures found in the film. In the audio department, the thing does a great job of kind of setting the mood with the music that it has in the game. Some of it's directly from the film. You'll totally recognize it if you've seen it. Other parts of it is completely original and is very well done and sets an eerie tone throughout the entire game. The voiceover work in the game is quite extensive and very impressive. All the characters have their own voices, lots of dialogue. The stuff that they say in the cutscenes fits well with one another, so it's not like you're just watching, some games out there where one character speaks and the other one speaks, and it's almost like they're not even talking to each other. In the thing, the interaction with the characters, specifically with the voices and the speech that's in the game, is very well done. The script is well written, and it comes across as fairly realistic. In the end, the thing's unique blend of action, puzzle solving, and team management really works well together and kind of keeps the game refreshing all the way through. So whether you're a fan of the original film or not, or just of the survival horror genre, the thing is definitely one of the better survival horror games that's been released for the PlayStation 2, and I highly recommend taking a look.